I don't feel like I have an adventure ready until I know who the main villain is. In this video, in this stream, we're going to be making an adventure for starter players for like first to third level in my campaign setting of Atroxia. This is part 5 of the Dillhorne adventure. We're probably going to get a name on that adventure eventually. The town is called Dillhorne, but it's going to be surrounded by this big forest in the Crown Lands, and it's going to have a bunch of 5-room dungeons in it in this hexploration that you can go and hop between all the different locations and explore all the different 5-room dungeons as you progress from first to third level. We have so far made like a town, we've made a map, we've made a little outline, and we made all the dungeons on one side of the forest, and now we are going to be doing the main villain of the adventure, and then there's probably 1 or 2 streams after that where we fill out the rest of the sort of adventure, as it were. Welcome to Mystic Arts. My name is Daði. I'm a professional writer and director, and I've been DMing for 11 years. Hey everybody, how you doing? I'm sorry I'm late. I got distracted talking to my players. A bunch of them came over to eat food here in the living room, and I got sucked into a conversation. I told one of our Discord members, Lou, that I'd be streaming today because they typically can't make a stream. So I'm glad to see there are other people here. That's lovely. Hi everybody, how you doing? It's been ages. I don't think I've streamed since more than a month ago. Is that right? When we did the rats? God, it's been so long. Hey, Lou's here. Hi, Lou. I think the PGM is Lou. I wanted to show you some stuff. So normally these streams start off with me just sort of catching up with chat and saying hello to everybody, taking questions and having a little bit of a conversation. Then we delve right into it and we play the jingle. So if you're watching the VOD, there's a thing at the bottom where you can see when we actually start prepping, unless you just want to hang and talk with us, because I have a bunch of stuff I want to show you. I have been going nuts with buying different sort of games. But before I show you any of that, when I went to UKGE last year, in May, I think is the typical UKGE time, I went and bought so much stuff. We filled a suitcase of things that me and AP saw, and we were like, oh my god, we have to have this. And one of those things was a Viking ship. And I had to glue this. It didn't come pre-glued. It was like a flat pack, like you get in IKEA. And I'm very happy with this. The instructions said that this side panel you were supposed to sort of bend into place and hold with duct tape. And I tried and could not get it to work. And I got my mini painter flatmate, Ivar, to have a look at it. And he tried and we could not get it into place. So he sawed it. You could see the different splits here of these pieces. He sawed it, and then I glued the various things back on. And it's got these sort of Viking-y shields and these oars. And since I am, as you know, a Norse, this was a little treat that I was very happy with. It's from Level Bedded is the company. I think you can look them up online, and I'm certain you can go buy some of their other ships. They have pirate ships and merchant ships, but I already had like a sailing ship one, so I wanted a longboat. And in my recent exploration, like my main game, the Kingmaker Everlasting, the players were heading out into the big bay to go do exploration on the sea. And I thought, hey, let's get him a ship. So I quickly went and found the flat pack and started gluing it just before the session. And then in the middle of the session, I was like, and you find this ship. But they were like, whoa. One of my favorite moments as a DM is when you've bought a mini or you printed it or whatever you did, and then you can hide it and you put it somewhere that nobody can see. And then in the dramatic fashion, you go, and this is what you fight, or this is what you find. And the players all go, why did you get that? And I go, that is my favorite, making that noise. I also have, I bought some more games. I'm just going to start showing you some stuff here. So I bought 2 box sets, and I want to compare and contrast a little bit. Both of these are games I'm really excited to try out. I haven't tried either of them yet. But the first one I found while in Glasgow recently, Mothership. It's basically Aliens, or Alien, the movie, but as an RPG. And the second one I got, where do I put this here? Mausritter, which is German. Mausritter. Mouse meaning mouse, and Ritter meaning knight. Mouse knight. And these are so fascinating, because I got these at basically the same time. And I opened them up, and I was stunned to see how different the contents of the box are. If you're a fan of either one of these games, and you think I'm about to do some dissing, I swear I'm not. This is mostly user error. Pepcast, as we call it in the industry. Problem exists between keyboard and chair. Or screen and chair. Screen and I don't know what the thing is. So this is the box set, and if you open it up, you got some dice in here. Lovely. And then I started rummaging around in here. I'm going to move the mic a little bit further away so it don't peek it. Hang on. How do I... And then I got out the 4 rules manuals. And I sort of went, uh-oh. I will never know. I will always feel like I'm reading it in the wrong order. Because the order they came out in seemed arbitrary and random to me, and someone pointed out that they're black and white for DM and player. I'm certain they have their own words for DM and player. I feel like every game has to invent new words for that for some reason. And I started flipping through, and I found it really, it's really strong, evocative setting stuff. Absolutely fascinating. But it's a horror game. It's deadly. Yeah. If you like rolling up a new character every few hours, I assume as much. So I think it's basically like deadly dungeon crawler in space, and there are horror monsters. But the thing is, it got these 4 books, and I was so confused as to where do I start? What is this? What is important here? And I could not figure it out until a friend of mine said, "Daði, have you looked at the back of the box? It tells you what's in the box." And I was like, "Oh, maybe I should have used my brain for a minute, and then I would have figured this out." Because it says Shipbreaker's Toolkit, and I don't know what is a shipbreaker. Player Survival Guide, so that's probably the core rules. Unconfirmed Contact Reports. Warden's Operation Manual. But look at how cool this is. I've not gotten to play this yet, no. This is, I will at some point. Probably not until winter rolls around. I will invite my players to a cabin, because in Iceland in winter it gets perpetually dark, and we will play it in the dark, and I will scare them. Have you... Exactly, James. Have you read the instructions on how to read the instructions? I have not. I have now. But then I opened Mausritter, and I fell in love. And that's the thing with a lot of these games. When you're looking to try something new, you open things, you hear recommendations, you open these things, and then you're like, I don't know. I feel like I have to do some work to meet the game halfway, to engage with it on its own terms. Is it not winter now? It is. But I don't think I'd be able to get a cabin trip organized that quickly. Because right now we're organizing the cowboy cabin trip, which we do in April. We're all going to put on fake mustaches and go yee-haw. And at that point, it's sort of summary. So maybe I just go out into the living room right now and say to my players, how would you like to go play horror games next weekend and see how that goes? But the thing is, I opened Mausritter and I fell in love because, first off, this is the book. That's how thin it is. Here's my fingernail for scale. Now, I do have fairly big hands, but that is not a big book. And it's got an owl. And it's just the one book. And I read it when I opened the box. I read the whole thing. It's very legible. The layout is very simple, very gorgeous. Hang on. I looked at this and I was like, I get it. I'm in love. I want this. And this I will play at some point. I assume I'll probably play this when the players are over and we don't have game night. And we just sort of go, We got Magnus is outing me in chat. Now is busy winter. Next winter still exists far enough in the future for Daði to dream it somehow won't be equally busy. I am amazed. I am amazed at how I am perpetually busier than I was before. I didn't think that was possible. At any given month, I'm like, this is the busiest I've been. And then somehow next month gets busier. This is an adventure. Honey Rafters. And look, that's it. That's the whole adventure. Front and back. That's a dungeon. And I looked at this and I went, at some point my players are going to be over. And I'm just going to say, hey, you guys want to play Mausritter? You can make characters in a minute, maybe 4 if you're being deliberately confused. And here's a bunch of character sheets, a bunch of equipment cards. We play this, and I was so excited because this is basically like OSR Dungeon Crawler, but adorable. And this is a box set with just adventures in it, and I bought that too. I was like, this looks great. Give me this as well. And I am very happy. Did I pledge this through Kickstarter? No. Siki is Icelandic, like I am. These are just in Nexus. You can get this at our Icelandic friendly local game store. These are fantastic. They might have Mothership at Nexus, but I don't remember seeing it. Hang on, the oars are all falling out of the ship. The oars are not glued in. So now here I am in just show and tell with everybody because I want to show you all the cool stuff that I got recently. I am a sucker for buying these kinds of books and things because, like Magnus says, now is busy winter, but eventually I will have non-busy winter, and then I'll be able to play all these things. That is yet to prove to be the case. It turns out if I want to try a game, I really do have to, like, with a butcher's axe, carve out the time. So that's that's been tough. Hayden. Hey, that's awesome. I'm happy to help. Do you skew OSR? I think on a spectrum of like OSR to Pathfinder, yeah. If I'm gonna try a new game other than 5e, I'd prefer it to be simpler. So I would say so. And the current 5e game I'm running is very OSR coded. It's hexploration, like hex crawl and dungeon crawl. And it's all about collecting money so that you can build up your domain, your castles or whatever. So I'm kind of in love with that style of play. My only issue with most OSR games is that I have a hard time imagining that I'll play a 200 session campaign in them. I think that's basically impossible with Mausritter. So I would never be able to replace Mausritter or replace 5e with Mausritter. But I would be able to go play Mausritter for 10 sessions and have an awesome time. And that's especially appealing to me because that's a new thing I get to do. Whereas a lot of systems are trying to replace my 5th edition game, and that the barrier to entry there is different. It sort of has to prove itself on different terms to me, which maybe isn't fair. I don't know, but this kind of stuff, I'm like, ooh, yes, I'm gonna go jump into that. Shadowdark pulled inspiration from Mausritter. That's awesome. Yeah, I just got my copy of Shadowdark in the mail. I put it in the Dungeon Turns video that it hadn't arrived in the mail yet, but I did get it the next day, and I unboxed it. I flipped through it. I'm excited to try Shadowdark. I think I'll try Vagabond first. I have a little note now on my corkboard because I've gotten really busy. So I've got a little note on my corkboard of the things that I want to do this year that isn't Mystic Arts, because at this point the channel's sort of barreling forward with a momentum I didn't think we'd ever have, and I'm incredibly grateful that we have that momentum. But it's been a challenge to find the time to do the things that I want to do. Like, I still haven't finished the last season of Stranger Things. I've only got the last episode left. And if anyone spoils it in chat, I'm blocking you. Don't do that. But I know people have complicated opinions on it. Mausritter is very capable for going on for 200 sessions. Is it? I don't know. Like, looking through it, there isn't enough there to sink my teeth into. I might well be wrong. I haven't played it. So if you've played it for 200 sessions, I'll take your word for it. Lou says, I love systems that don't feel like they just looked at 5e and went, I fixed it. Yeah, I get that. I get that. 100%. I've got a video coming out tomorrow. Spoilers about that, but I've got a video coming out tomorrow talking about the OGL, and it's sponsored by Nimble, which is one of those systems that takes a look at 5e and changes the things that the designer wanted to change. And for a lot of people, that is exactly what they wanted. I know Abuji, am I saying that right, is in chat, and they play Nimble. I told them I had a little surprise for them. I'm spoiling it. Sorry. And for a lot of people, that's exactly what they want. And that's really cool that they get to find that game and have it. But for me, the thing I'm gonna talk about in that video is just the idea of like, go mix those things together. Go play along. Go take things from different 5e systems and try them. Plenty of OSR people do the same. Like like somebody just said in chat about Shadow Dark, they'll take bits of Shadow Dark, they'll take bits of Mausritter, or whatever, and they'll play around, they'll make a thing with it. So I'm excited to try. Yeah, Vagabond's next. It's not OSR exactly. It's OSR adjacent. It's pulpy. It's fighty, actiony, like combat-y. So I'm excited about that as well. Thanks, Ranch Loafer. Any plans for making a video about playing with a new player? I'm scared of DMing new players. What should I do? Which one-shot will be better? Do I need to make my own one-shot? I would say just make like a 5-room dungeon. Like really sort of basic dungeon crawly, like... Because it gets them introduced to the character sheet. Like, you can make your own 5-room dungeon. They're super easy to do. But the All Hail Gek Kobold dungeon that I made, it's free on the Patreon. If you go on the Patreon, you search All Hail Gek, or maybe Magnus can find it and post it in chat. I don't know how much he's moderating tonight. That kind of dungeon I think is really good for first time players because you fight kobolds and they're squishy, so you kill them easy, but you can also talk to them and you can there are factions in the dungeon, you can talk to them and sort of figure out what's going on, and I think it's a great time. Hang on. Do I have an episode on creating new magic items, magic systems? Not magic systems, but we do have an episode on creating magic items, and I made a rule set for crafting magic items in 5e. Unless you mean like designing as a DM, designing a new magic item. I don't have that. Well, I've got the one on the Book of Vile Darkness, the Book of the Profane Word, is my version of it. You could have a look and see if that's something closer to what you're looking for. But other than that, I don't think I do. Bucket Punk says, I'm hoping Draw, Steel, or Dagger will be the thing that gets me hyped for D&D style games again. Time for Revolver campaigns. Revolvers are great for trying new systems. Just a Revolver this is a reference to a video we made about session campaign lengths. For some reason in Iceland we call a one-shot a einhleipa, which means a gun with one bullet in it, which got me thinking about what other magazine sizes are there. And a revolver is like 5 or 6 shots. So 5 or 6 sessions. And I think those are great for like sinking your teeth into a system. When I tried Draw Steel, I think we did 3 or 4 sessions, and it really sort of showed me what the system was about. Gave me a pretty good look at it, I think. Hang on. Hey, that's awesome, Range Lover. Yeah, dungeon turns are great. We've been using them long enough now, and that's only like, I don't know, less than 10 dungeons with my main game, but we've been using them for that long. And that means that last session we played, which was yesterday, was in a dungeon crawl, and at some point they asked, like, is my spell still up? And I said, it's been 10 minutes. And then somebody else around the table went, 1 dungeon turn. Because they've clocked that there is a system, even though we don't talk about it. It's not terribly obvious to the players, but there is a system, and sometimes we lean into it, and sometimes it's a short enough dungeon that I don't like explicitly say we are now doing this, but we've been doing it long enough that they're like, we are now in dungeon turn mode, and that means your spell's still up. What's my favorite homebrew magic item I created? Uh, I think I really liked the Book of the Profane Word. That was a lot of fun to make. Um, I stole Jim Murphy's idea that Matt Colville also stole about the Teeth of the Dragon, and I made my own versions of them. And they were a lot of fun because I made them be the only way to kill Tiamat in my campaign. So Tiamat regains, I think, like 100 hit points per round, unless she takes damage from one of the Teeth of the Dragon. Then she regains only 20 or something like that. Uh, so they were this way to kill Tiamat, and I thought that was really interesting. So when they killed Tiamat, the swords all destroyed themselves permanently. I just ran Bank Holiday from the broadsheet. Players loved it. Lots of hijinks. Next week, the confrontation. Oh, 2-session Bank Holiday. Awesome. Bank Holidays are Die Hard adventure that we created. How do I lay the foundation for creating a horror campaign like Out of the Abyss? The way I'm interpreting the game comes down to belief. How do I capture the belief of my players for better immersion? A belief is one of it, but you can get a lot out of horror by making sure the bad guys can kill you instantly, and that we don't understand the bad guys. I ran a Wendigo that I homebrewed, and I just gave it immunity to like a whole bunch of damage types, including all the normal ones, unless it takes fire damage. So fighting a Wendigo means how do we get fire? And the first time I did that, it was just AB at the table. It was in a duet game, and that was really fun because then she couldn't deal with it. She had to go find fire while it was slaughtering its way through a camp. That's a horror scenario. Like, go look at horror movies and see what is making the horror be scary. There was another adventure, a murder mystery adventure I ran, called the Russell Case, where a wizard, like a super duper powerful, like epic level wizard, killed a guy in a prison cell, and the news reports that he committed suicide, but he Russell did not kill himself, and the wizard was able to cast Scry and teleport and power word kill, and the players are first, second, and third level. So at that point, that is a horror campaign. At what point are we gonna make a wisdom save to get Scryed on, and then we're all gonna die? We better keep quiet about what we know. Right? That was a lot of fun. Exactly, Abuji. There are things people have issues with in every game. Yeah, 100%. I don't ever run anything straight out of the box unless I'm like trying it for the first time and I want to give it a fair shot so that I know how it works before I start monkeying around with it. Hi, Rough Galaxy. I'm sorry you're leaving. Any recommendations for tools to help run the game other than actively taking notes or Obsidian? I have the tool I use the most is a stack of paper next to my dice tray. I have a pen on it and I write on it. That is, I will just write down a single word to remind me of something I need to do. That's always fun. Ba, 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 ba. Well, I think that's everything I really wanted to talk about. Hang on. Have you ever dealt with cocky players who tend to underestimate everything you throw at them? How do you recommend running a horror campaign for that sort of player? I don't know. You can teach them a lesson. I tend to also like the bad guys sparing them, but then giving them the monologue. So if somebody were to try and confront the wizard murderer in that case, hold person DC 23 would also instill fear in their in their gut as he says, I could kill you with a single word. You can just sort of grab him for that little thing and see if that does anything. Well, love having you here, Ghoul House. Planning to run Dillhorne as a duet for my boyfriend. Hey, that's awesome. Hopefully we'll have it done. I've been thinking a lot. Somebody asked about the Dungeon Jam earlier. The Dungeon Tubers Dungeon Jam. In May, we're gonna, a whole bunch of D&D YouTubers, Dungeon Tubers, or not just D&D, we're gonna make 5-room dungeons. And we're gonna make a big playlist out of it, and then you can go peruse that playlist and use those dungeons in your games. And one of the things I was hoping to do is get Dillhorne done enough by that point that we could make a starter 5-room dungeon for Dillhorne before you get to town. And then for the rest of the adventure, that would be whatever PDF we end up making. So that means I want to get it done by May. And then I'll have to make a 5-room dungeon to stick in front of it for the Dungeon Jam. Have a little sip of my drink here. Yeah, it's a good answer, Magnus. Yeah, set expectations. If your players don't know what you're up to, it can be tough. Sorry, James. Sorry to break it to you. How did you write post-mortem notes? After the session or while PCs are arguing with each other? Both. Just write down, when things happen. How do I lay the foundation for a treasure hunt campaign? I'm kind of worried the players will use their ship to go off the rails. Communicate. Tell them it's going to be a treasure hunt campaign. And if they don't play the treasure hunt, they don't have to play in the treasure hunt campaign. They can decide that all on their own. What are your thoughts on this definition of a dungeon? How do you think this affects 5e game design, an environment intentionally designed to deplete the resources of players progressively? Oh, that's the definition. Yeah. Yeah, 100%. I think that's accurate. What did I miss? Nothing, Nova. We're just catching up with chat right now, making sure that everybody gets a chance to say hi, because we haven't gone live in ages. We've been really busy. We've been making this broadsheet every month. It's been this huge monumental work that we're doing. This is the newest issue where a fire giant shoots at you with a Gatling gun. What's not to love? That sounds like the coolest thing in the world. And the broadsheet itself is like, each thing is like 50 pages, which means we're doing one a month. We have now wrote like a book, a 220-page book. It's about the size of Tasha's at this point, and the next issue will then be longer than Tasha's. And these things are a lot of work. surprising only me. Everyone else told me it was a lot of work, and I went, nah, we can do that. And we decided that February we weren't going to make a new issue. We were going to work on our backlog a little bit, and in March we'll have a new issue out on our usual time. But in the meantime, I'm going to update some old PDFs. We've already started work on that, and we're going to do a second edit pass on the broadsheet. A lot of our patrons, Discord members, particular Private 13, has been going through and pointing out all the typos we made. Hey, listen. There's just 2 of us writing this thing. The writers team is 2 people. So, yeah, typos may happen. At least we're not using generative AI. We're typing all of this by hand and making the mistakes manually. Who does all the art for the broadsheet? She's credited at the back. Almost all of the art is done by our in-house artist, Brimrún Birta. That's a good Icelandic name for you. She's amazing. She does these incredible illustrations that we put on the front cover. She does all the subclass art and stuff like that. Hang on, I could show you the Atroxian subclass image if I find it. And I'm so astonished with getting to see my setting brought to life. She does all the subclass art. She also does all the like this stuff. That's all her. Like these sort of gothic like Victorian London meets Gotham setting stuff. She does all of that, and she does these beautiful character illustrations. Hang on, where did I put it? This one. Like, look at that. Look at how good that looks. That's crazy, right? These are the 4 subclasses in the newest issue. They're intense. She does these, and then my girlfriend AB does a whole bunch of additional art. She does the sigils. She does these vignettes of us at the back. So, like, whenever you go to see the credits page at the very back of the broadsheet, there's a little doodle of me and everybody else, but mostly it's the one about B that I love. Hang on, where is it? Here it is. You can see the credits page. These are the people who work on it. I'm so proud of the work we get to do. Like, this is the best thing that I get to do in my life. I get to make my setting, and I get to get my friends. Brimrun did all the concept art for Echoes of the End, the video game I worked on, and when that game wrapped up, we were both finding ourselves out of a job, and I said, how would you like to come join us and do art for Mystic Arts? And she said, hell yeah. And we jumped on that opportunity. That was the best. Thank you, Zach. Sack Attack. Awesome name. Being able to draw is a gift from the gods, right? Right? These are amazing. Let me see if I can find one more to show off for you, because the broadsheet, listen. How often can I tell you that this is the thing that can I tell you what I'm proudest of? Look at that. That's the Arthusian University. In issue number 3, we created this sort of fantasy Oxford, which all the elite go to. And hang on, I can just pull up the bing, bing, bing. Bank Street. Neighborhoods. 2-page view. The superior view. And this is the university. And these are all the philosophies you can study at the university. These are, if you do a thesis, tuition, how much does it cost to go to this university? A lot of money. A lot of money. And these are all the different colleges in the university. They all have a heraldry. They all have when they were founded, what they teach, who the provost is, meaning like the dean, I guess. A little blurb about how they select their students and what makes this college different from all the other ones. And then there's a super detail map. Hang on, I'm in the way. A super detail map of what all is on the campus grounds. And we do this for every borough in the city. The city is massive. It's full of like loads of different boroughs, 31 boroughs in the city, and all the inner city boroughs we detail to this degree, one issue at a time. So this is Bank Street, where all the wizard bankers live. All the bankers are also wizards, and they control the economy, and they're the ones who killed Russell in his prison cell. Why did they do that? You gotta listen to the Game Tales episode next month to know why. And we detail all of them like this. They all have like little, not all of them, but there's like 11 or something quest hooks in locations. So you can take the adventure and you can expand it, or you can use the adventure that's in the broadsheet to just run that right out of the box. And they tend to tie in the themes of the this one is Bank Street, so it's in a bank, and it's got subclasses, so all the subclasses are introduced as NPCs. Which is the oldest college? Well, they argue about that, don't they? It's either Merwin or Bailey. And they, I'm not gonna get on either one of their shit lists. I'm gonna live. I don't want to get Power Word killed in prison. Are the city maps also done by her, or are they incarnate? I make them. I make them in incarnate. I sit down. There's a stream where I did one of them, I think. I sit down and I just start noodling away, and it also is really good for world building when you're making maps in incarnate. You get to look at them and think, why is this like this? Why is this like that? And you start imagining the whole thing in your head, and it really helps to do all the world building. I'm a Bailey man myself. Secret handshake. Hell yeah. Bailey's a reference to Yes Minister. So there is a Bales College. There is a real college in Oxford called something like that, and they ripped it off in Westminster, and they called it something slightly different so as to not insult the aristocracy. Good fun, right? But that's not why we're here on the stream. I can't stop myself. If somebody asks me a question about the broadsheet, you're going to launch me into a monologue about the coolest thing I get to do. Just slightly, a hair above the actually end of the game I got to work on. But we are actually here to go make a starter adventure for Blackguard, or for Atroxia. So the setting that Blackguard, the city, is in, just outside of that city that I was showing you just now. This is the map of Atroxia. Blackguard's right there, and just, 40 miles out of town, there's a little town called Dillhorne, and it's here in the middle of the Ashwood Forest. And my oh my, isn't this a good place to set a starter adventure, in a town in the middle of the forest with just a train tracks running through and little else to go for it. So we figured, let's make an adventure in this town with a silly name. And I think that means that I can no longer be Daði from Mystic Arts, and I have to modulate myself into Dadi the Dungeon Guy.
Dadi the Dungeon Guy.
Dadi the Dungeon Guy.
Dadi the Dungeon Guy.
Subscribe to Dillhorne. D&D rules.
Dadi the Dungeon Guy.
Welcome back to Smash.
Clearly agile, sneaky, intelligent, powerful. I'm on the bed already.
T-minus 5 seconds.
Dadi the Dungeon Guy.
This is the town of Dillhorne that we made an incarnate in the second episode of the stream, I think. You can see here, it's a cute little town with these train tracks running through it. There is a large corporate headquarters for Standard Pulp. And then there is a bunch of shops and things. There's some rich person's estate. There's a butcher named Meat. Hang on, you can't see it. Meat. And that's not Pinewold Manor. Look at this. Look at how high res it is. How can you not love Incarnate? I don't know. To each their own. I'm currently looking for the hex map, and I can't seem to... Oh, logo. I can't seem to find it. Oh, maybe it's just a PSD file? Psst. Psst. Hey, listen. A hex file. Yeah. So we're going to open that. While that's opening, let's have a little look-see here at Incarnate. This is the sort of bullet point document that we've been working on. And I'm gonna have to move my noggin. Hang on. How does this? No. Aha. I'm a professional. Did you know I do this for a living? Honestly, when am I going to learn how any of these things work? So here is the note file that we've been using, and this is Look, it's got Dillhorne Town, the people we like, the good folks. These are all the sort of shopkeepers and things. There's a hunting guild. There's a bad corporation. There are villager vigilantes, and then there's a big bad faction of baddies who bad. Terrible writing. Terrible. 0 out of 10. There's an old battlefield, and it's risen again. A new knight leader who wants to conquer the town. This knight is raising an army, and there's something called mushroom sentience that controls all of this. Okay. They are people who are undeaded via mushroom. Listen, whenever I write this up properly, we're going to make sure that it's written like an adult wrote it, and not the child that I am. What else is here? Druid Circle, Fae, Bad Wildlife, Unaligned, Goblins, Green Hag, Radican Clan. Cool. Hexcrawl. Right, this is what we did last time. So, hang on. Adventures. Rat Home. Areas of interest. Rotwall, Logging Site. Yeah, we wrote little notes about all this. Nettle Rot, that's where the hag was. Do y'all remember this? If you remember this, and I'm just here trying to remind myself, that's a terrible quality stream. I'll stop self-deprecating whenever I Stop thinking it's hilarious. Okay, so there are some classic first level Fire Emblem Dungeon and Tower. Many Teeth Tribe. This we might do for the starter one, but I don't know. Maybe it's a bit generic. Maybe we can do a better one. And then there's stuff in the other forest. Look, there's so much. Let's have a look if the Photoshop file makes any sense. Here it is. This is the one we were working on last time. You can see it's all finished up. Oh, gross, low quality. Canopy's Breach is here in like a swamp. There's a swamp in the middle of this. A swamp. Don't forget the Beaver of Wisdom. That's in the East Forest. We have moved beyond the Beaver of Wisdom. We are now going to think about the Mushroom Sentience. No Comic Sans. No. Do you know I studied graphic design? I did. I studied graphic design for a year, and one of the classrooms there had a poster with Uncle Sam on it, like pointing. Or no, it's the forest fire guy. That's somebody else, and it says only you can stop Comic Sans. That's what they do in the only Icelandic graphic design school. We're gonna weed it out of them early. I can tell chat has something to do with this adventure. Right, chat loves the mushroom sentience. This is the second time chat has been like sentient mushrooms. Smokey the Bear, yeah. It was anti-Comic Sans Smokey the Bear. The coolest Smokey the Bear. So Canopy's Breach, mushroom sentience. So I think, this is what I'm looking at here. I think what we need to do is we need to figure out why mushroom sentience? What mushroom? What sentience? How do we make that interesting? Because the mushroom sentience still has to be beatable by the players, presumably, right? I would think so. If our main villain is this entity that's crooking around in the head of this knight, is it not more interesting if we just get to beat the knight? Maybe we should have like an evil off-screen bad guy. Remember that analogy about playing Tetris? I should use that more. It's my favorite analogy. I think Magnus came up with it. The idea is, as a DM, you will just sort of say stuff, and that is the equivalent of in Tetris when a piece comes falling down and you save it. You put it off to the side, and then you keep playing Tetris. And then eventually you go, aha, I have a plot hole. And you grab the little piece and say, that's what this was doing here. So maybe just having the mushroom sentience be an off-screen bad guy is the way to go. Or we can find some cool way of making it beatable. Make it more of a hive mind via the mushrooms. Yeah. So there isn't... That's better. Yeah. Because I was thinking like an elder brain. You know what I mean? Like there was a thing that was the mushroom sentience. Last of Us D&D edition. Yeah. Right? Big mushroom boss who does little to no damage, but a bunch of minions, including the knight. Lots of lair actions. That might be fun. Like an action every turn sort of thing. That might be fun. Might be the way to go. The mushroom eats the brain. I don't think there's an actual elder brain. Oh, you mean in the brain in the zombie's brain? Mushroom sentience combined with an old dead king BB. That's where it got its motivation. Is the mushroom just dumb? Is it just a knight? Like the thing, that might be fun. So the thing, okay. I like the idea of working with a sort of a clinical explanation almost. So it's not an entity that's controlling all the mushrooms. It is literally just a natural phenomenon. That's funny. That's an Icelandic joke, but that's funny. It's literally just a regular mushroom thing. For some reason, it's itty bitty sentient, and then it grafts onto the knight, and it gets the knight's thoughts, and it becomes the army, right? Yeah, I like that. I like that. Fungal infection. Yeah, gross. I love it. So let's hang on. How do we do this? If I do this, does that make this angle look nice? Yeah, that's not bad. Listen, one of these days I will have streamed. Okay. Let's include, we're going to skip past all this stuff. We're going to go into edit. I don't like editing in source mode unless I have to. Canopies breach. Yeah. Not my first language, everybody. Okay. So, I cast remove poison. Would that end it? I don't know. There are spiders that get mind controlled by a fungus. I can't recall what it is. I would offer to look it up, but I have severe arachnophobia, so I will not. Seriously, if I see a picture, I'll think it's on me. So mushroom sentience isn't actually sentient. It's mostly granted its sentience by the dead knight. By the dead knight. Who's this dead knight? You know, if you're writing, if you're doing writing stuff, and you're like, why am I stuck? Just ask questions. Just ask questions and move on. And if you have an answer, write it down. Then ask another question and move on. And if you have an answer, write it down. And just keep doing that. Eventually you will have written a thing. Cordyceps. So it's a real thing, but it's also in The Last of Us. That's fun. Where are we? Sorry, Nax. Sorry. I may be dyslexic. Whoa! Accelerator, thank you so much. 18 hours worth of... Thank you. I try my best. I really appreciate that. Cordyceps. I complained on Blue Sky. I'm on Blue Sky. I complained on Blue Sky the other day about a mean comment, and somebody was like, just don't read the comments. And I was like, but that's where I see stuff like that, and it makes my day. The Dead Knight is acting on the perceived will on the sentience? I think the sentience is acting on the echoes of the memories of the Dead Knight. It's mostly granted sentience by the Dead Knight. This corpse it possessed. God, how do you... 4 S's? This is from the nation that cut out the U because it was a waste of characters. Good God. Spell gazetteer. Don't look it up. Spell it. Messes me up every time. You're gonna get one of the number of letters wrong. The corpse it possessed. Believed. Hang on, I'm getting there. Hang on, the thought, like the DVD loading screen, bouncing around. When I hit a corner, I will have generated the thought. This corpse it possessed had echoes of memories that the sentience is trying to enact. Conquest at all costs. I mean, that's correct, Eliada. You know? What do you think, you're better than me? It's funny. Cordyceps is put in Canopy's breach. It usually sends insects to a high place in the canopy to die there and release its spores in the air. That's cool. Cordyceps. To die in the canopy. To spread its spores. Did you ever play Spore? So, didn't I write something down about this night at some point? Oh, well, I wrote this stuff. Well, let's grab it. Let's grab this. Oh, and there's also this, the Renegade. Cool. Are they in Canopy's Breach? Where? So, there was a battle here? Was the battle at Canopy's Breach? In the swamp? Is it a swamp of dead men? The mere of dead men. God, Tolkien knew how to name things. Lucky bastard. That's cool. Kachothian? I don't know how to say your name. The real reason fungus does the thing is to spread itself further. So the night is directed in something similar. So I think it's both. I don't know that there's a way to make the adventure make that clear, but I think it's both. I think it's the mushroom wants to spread, the night wants to conquer. So this bond is like a once in a, you know, it wouldn't normally happen, but now it does, you know. Says the cordyceps wants to spread its spores, and the night wants to conquer. A bond was created between the two. What if Chthonian, alright? Note it. The battle is what made the canopy breach. That's dope. Ages ago, a battle raged in this forest. Ages ago, I'm going to say long before firearms and hazies. That's what they call cars. A bloody battle raged in this forest. Thousands died. That's a lot. Hundreds died. Maybe it was 1,000. I don't know. Soil changed and became a swamp somehow. Now, a lot of times when I'm doing this sort of outlining, I'm not actually trying to write it evocatively, in case that wasn't clear by Bad Faction of Baddies Who Bad. The thing I'm trying to do is I'm trying to inspire me in the future who has to go type this up and make it make sense. That guy's job is hard enough already. So what I'm trying to do is make sure that they have a good time, me in the future, because they're gonna have to make this be exciting. So I will write down stuff like this, and then usually I'll go read, research, mostly Wikipedia pages, and then see if I can make sense of it. How are you able to view the read mode while editing in Obsidian? When you go to read mode or edit mode, there's a source mode button. If you just click it, it goes into the sort of read mode, and you can kind of have a look at what's going on. Magic, druids, I don't know. Now all that remains is a large tower, the one they fought over. Because it is a tower, it's not a big tree or anything. Ancient bioweapon, might have been. Yeah, it might have been a fight between druids. Lots of decomposing dead bodies, lots of CO2. It's a bog now. Cool. Is there a way to find words or phrases in a note so that you have another note but are not yet linked? Yes, yeah, you can click on backlinks, and that's down here, and you'll find that. Before anybody asks, this software I'm writing in, is called Obsidian. It looks like this is a video I made about Obsidian and why I use it. And if you're wondering, the Obsidian you show in that video doesn't look like this Obsidian right here. That's because I used a vault made by Nax, and if you want to know how to do that, that's this video right here. Alright. Chat, you're going to have to help me let people know who ask. So there was a battle long ago. There's a mushroom. There's a knight. Ah, I had an idea. 1, 2, 3, 4. The sentience. So, this old knight, we'll have to name him at some point. Or she. This knight is, it can't die. Well, they can. When killed. Hang on. The mind of this old knight, when killed. Oh no, I clicked a button on my mouse. Is simply inserted into another corpse. The players could fight this knight many times. I should stop rhyming. And he will always be reincarnated by another as another mushroom soldier. So you could fight the knight at the start, fight him later, fight him again and again and again. So how do you kill it? I don't know. Mushroom lair. Mushroom Sentience is a lair action monster. It commands minions within the swamp. It wants to extend the swamp? I don't know. We'll see about that one. Basically does a bunch of stuff on its turn in battle. Ideas are forming. It sounds a lot like the fighter lich that Pointy Hat did a while ago. I haven't seen that video of his. I met Pointy Hat at UKG. Very nice person. It was funny because I was like, hello, I have this channel called Mystic Arts. And he was so apologetic about not knowing what my channel was. And he kept explaining, I don't watch that much D&D tube. So I don't, like, you could be the hottest things to sliced bread and I wouldn't know. And I was like, that's fine. Plenty of people don't know who I am. That's no big deal. I'm walking around this convention. Nobody knows who I am. That's just normal. And then I told him that I had stolen several adventures for him and run them at my games, and he was very flattered by that. Very nice guy. UKGE, by the way, I've been wanting to go plan a trip there, but I keep hesitating because they platformed a bunch of AI art last year, and they've not updated their policy on it at all. And I don't know if you're as passionate about it as I am, if you could go and send an email or go ask them, hey, where's the updated AI art policy? I think you'd bring a lot of joy to the world. I've been tweeting at them on Blue Sky. I'm not on Twitter. Gross. But I've been tweeting at them, and I've been going, hey, I would love to know if you're cool or not. No response so far. Eerily silent on it. So maybe I'll end up going to Gen Con instead, even if that does mean going to America. All right. Hang on. Where are we? Here? No, here? Yes. Yes. See, I'm just out of practice. I should be doing this more. That's what I was thinking. So this creature needs a soul jar or a phylactery to destroy. I agree, Chthonian. I agree. I also agree with D-Block. I'm not on that side. Yeah. Did the king die? This battle, long ago, killed a king. And his body is sprouting out of his head. Did you guys watch Annihilation? Have you seen Annihilation? Do you if you have, when they deconstruct, when the not Feywild aliens, when they deconstruct the Marine or whatever they sent in there, what if that's like down in Canopy's Breach? It's this tree of mushroom mass, this fungal mass that grows out of a dead king's head. And this knight is the king. Right? This knight isn't just somebody. It's this king and his desire for conquest. Maybe he was a druid? That's why the druids are there. That's why the druids are there. Because the druids... Yes. Okay, so the druids are a remnant of that king's faction. That king died, and he did fungal druid magic, right? So he was basically like a druid warlock. His head had some spores in it. When he died, they continued to live. And now it's his will is animating all these things. And I think you gotta, like, burn him. I think you gotta, like, toast the guy, you know? Thermo grenade. When you're writing, and one answer answers 5 questions, that means you've done a good job. Because now everything's gonna point at each other. They're gonna go to the Druid Grove, they're gonna learn about the king. You know what I mean? So all of these things are pointing at each other and creates this network of the story. This is why you start with the bad guy. This is why you go, what is the bad guy up to? What is the plot of the movie? Obviously, the plot of the movie is the bad guy. If you watch Die Hard, it's not about the things John McClane is doing. It may be about his marriage, but the things he is doing is defined by Alan Rickman. Hans Gruber. So that's what it is. Name suggestion. Iseria. Thank you so much. Graith. Is that right? Thank you so much. Yeah, we can call it Iseria. Cordyceps. I'm not sure if I want to have the Last of Us name in there. I'm not married to it. Or maybe, is that the name suggestion for the king? Or the queen? Orwin the Unresting, keeper of the first grove. Yeah, let's call the king that. Okay, my mouse has stopped behaving entirely. Asaria sounds like a queen to me. Yeah. Hang on, oh, there we go. Queen of the first grove. Let's mix some of these together. Alright, we're cooking now. This is... dinner. She was a Circle of Spores druid, and upon her death, she sprouted... She sprouted a crown of fungal growth that split her skull and body. It's still in the basement. It's still, I'd say it's still underneath. Canopies breach. Only by burning this body and destroying the queen and her fungal crown can you end the Cordyceps hive mind. We're not calling it big fungus. Sorry, Furious Dan. Listen, can't be doing this. We're not calling it Michael Jackson either. Are the king and the knight in love with each other? I think the knight is the queen. Michael Jackson is funny. I think the knight is the queen. I think this knight is male, female. I think it just shows up and trundles around. It's in whatever body it's in. It speaks in the same voice. No big fungus. Mycelium. Chat. Did your mom always tell you were special? You can't. I'm sorry. We can't. Mycelium. Spornelius. Listen. Her king could be the rogue that's going against her. I don't know that I want to do the same trick multiple times. I like the idea of the rogue agent being infected and broken free. A human person. I don't think the sentience is good enough to take over living people. I think that's what it is. Yeah, exactly, Anis. Yeah. I think... Chat's fuck. You're killing me with these name suggestions. That's hilarious. The Cordyceps hive mind isn't strong enough to possess the living. It got close once when a human woman named, not Mycelium, was stolen and was kidnapped. Can't steal her. She's a person, not a goat. Was kidnapped and filled with spores. She broke free and now roams the woods. She's the parent of one of the orphans. Here's... It used to be a magic item in an earlier draft. We'll see if we keep it. Shantharel? Is that something? Is that a joke I'm not getting, or is this a genuine suggestion? That's always the risk with chat names. I'm always wondering, am I being had a fool? Are you taking advantage of me? Yeah, it all comes together. Exactly, Yanis. This is why writing is fun. I used to ask programmers, because I worked in video games, and I was like, why do you do this? You are exclusively miserable. You talk to me about some dumb bug that you're working on, and then you're absolutely not enjoying yourself. Oh, it's a mushroom. Yeah, figured. You're absolutely not enjoying yourself, and you're there bashing your head against the wall trying to figure out why the main character's feet keep sliding or whatever it is, and you never seem pleased. And the programmer said, because when I fix it, I feel like a god. And then I got it. I was like, it's like writing. It's the same thing. Literally, you'll be staring at a blank page and you go, I'm the worst person in the world. Why did I do this? Why am I trying to do this at all? I feel this way every time I read a Mystic Arts video, and I do one of those every week. And I'm like, why am I doing this? Why did I choose to do this for a living? Why am I writing? But then you get the two bits and you connect them, and you feel like a god. And being a DM is the same. You're like, I don't know if I can pull this off. Every time a session's about to start, it's 30 minutes until the session starts, and I go, I am never going to make this make sense. I am insane for even wanting to try. And then, suddenly, it's go time. And you just go. And you pull stuff out of your ass. You look at your notes and you go, that doesn't make any sense. And you do something else. And then you're playing this shell game. And you put on a show. You do a silly voice. And you watch your players smile and laugh. And you realize, I am a god. That's what it's about. That's the joy of it. Like, everything else is secondary. Awesome. All right. So we have this Renegade. And at this point, I think I know enough about the villain to know what the adventure is, right? So we should now click here again. Why can my cursor... Is this what it normally is? Yes, maybe. Gentle Grove. This is a friendly Druid Circle. And it's what remains of Queen... What's her name? Azaria. Domain. 100 generations later. They can happily share the story of Isaria of the Battle of Canopies Reach. View change. Sorry. Here you go, everybody. At this point, I have enough. This is an LLM speech pattern. I'm sorry. You're absolutely right, Yanis. Let's elaborate on that further. just let me know if there's anything else I can help you with. Battle of Canopy's Breach. So I'm just writing down a few notes where we figure out. Hang on. So there's Druids, Gentle Grove. I'm lost. I lost it. Friendly Druid Grove, what remains of Queen Caesaria's domain, 100 generations later. They can tell the story. There's a bunch of druids here. We can think about Gentle Grove more later, but now we have these notes to go off of. So a lot of these things are going to be druid-esque. Circle of the Spores Druids? I don't know. Maybe that was just a Nysaria thing. See ya, Bougie. Thanks so much for joining. Maybe that was just Nysaria. I don't know. I'm always listening to focus music when we're doing this, and at this point it's a lot of Succession. I found this one video I just listened to on loop when I'm writing now, and I'll post it. And it's a banger. If you guys haven't seen Succession, good TV. Is Nettlerot, does she have a motive already? Good question. Ooh, is she responsible for things going wrong? Maybe. What's this map? This is the map we've been working on. Well, in previous streams. This is Canopy's Breach here. This is part 5 of the adventure. Hi, if you're joining the stream right now, this is part 5 of the adventure for Dillhorne. We're going to name the adventure something cool at some point, but right now it's called Dillhorne. Canopy's Breach is the center location of the whole adventure. It's the main dungeon. And there is a whole bunch of other locations we can explore. We will be delving into them probably later. I assume this stream is mostly going to be figuring out Canopy's Breach. Maybe the hag knows her. Yeah, I think that's probably right. I think you are probably correct. And was responsible for implanting the spores in her head 1,000 years ago. Can the trees be giant mushrooms? I don't think so. I think we could put in like a small location of giant mushrooms, but I know that it's not Clip Studio, it's Photoshop. I think we could put in. You could do this in Clip Studio, by the way. Whatever. Anyway. God. You know how many HDs I have? Doctor tells me I have 80 of them. What was I saying? Yeah, I know that this forest is like a mundane forest, so it's entirely. It is entirely like ashwood trees, but we could put in a location of giant mushrooms somewhere. That's not a big deal. We could definitely do that. You notice what's happening. So we're writing down Gentle Grove. We have one idea, and it spreads like a fungal infection across all our ideas. Giant beehive. Naiad's Rest. Maybe that's a bunch of mushrooms. I don't know. That feels so whimsical to me. I don't think that's right for this. I think this should be gross. Hang on. You don't have the reference picture. Let me see if I can find... Let me see if I can find a screenshot of this. Here we go. Here's what this thing looks like. This is straight out of the movie. This is a person's body. You can see their skull here. You can see the way it's sort of, these mushrooms are growing out of the body as it's been deconstructed. This is like blood and gore and viscera, right? That's what we're talking about. Yeah, I probably should have done a content warning. Sorry. If you have kids, make sure they don't see what I just showed them. I'm sorry. But now I'm stuck again. Why does that happen? Should I move on? No, we're doing Canopy's Breach. Giant's Corpse, Red Scale Tribe. Let's see. Let's switch gears then. Memory undo. Yeah. Druids mad at loggers. Yeah, they're probably annoyed. So how big are we making Canopy's Breach? When we did the rats, we did 2 5-room dungeons, and we sort of stacked them on top of each other or next to each other or something. We can do something like that. We can make it bigger. We can make it be huge if we want to. I mean, if it's the finale of the adventure, it should be the biggest one, right? No use having a massive dungeon not be the finale. If you're going to do a massive dungeon, you better have a massive boss fight at the end. There needs to be another thing. You're probably right. I don't think we're done. I think we need more. So, let's make a poll. Start a poll. Dungeon, how big? Big, small. I can't decide between the two. Both? There we go. Here are your options. Make it a 5 and then a 10 room. Basement 4 levels. 4 levels! Ooh! Maybe. Dungeon should go underground. I agree with that. I think the tower is 1 dungeon. And then there's a entry down below. More social options than the pirate adventure you and chat made. Probably will be. Big. Maybe not in duration, but large. Big old labyrinth. Doesn't need 200 rooms. For the final dungeon, yeah, Wolfpacks. How would there be a big dungeon in the swamp? The mushroom could have dug it. But then the body would need to be the entrance, right? Now, it could all be a tower. It could be all tower all the time. 3 levels, 5 room each. Yeah. What did Private 13 say? Was this before there was a swamp? Yeah, probably. Yeah. Yeah, the tower is what they fought over. I don't know why they fought over this tower. There needs to be something dope in the tower. That is why they're fighting over it. It's sunk. Ooh. That's cool. The body is the exit. That's cool too. Big seems to win. Alright. Big seems to win. 15% of you can't make decisions. No, I'm sorry. I don't mean to diss. How big is big? 10 rooms? 15 rooms? 20 rooms? More? Start poll. Hello. I'm streaming. Chat's making a dungeon. Right?
Really surprised at how good it is.
It's really good.
It's really edible.
Yeah. For chat, there's a sandwich in Iceland that's called pepperoni taco. If you ever visit and you need like quick food, hang on.
I'm sorry, I forgot the camera's over there.
You have to bring it like
looking at your...
here.
Yeah.
We're not paid by these people, but they
should pay us.
They should pay us. This is the most edible like store-bought sandwich you can get in this country.
I'll go get some paper towel.
Uh-huh. I've been splashed with passion fruit juice.
It's not a lot.
Good God.
Hello, I'm here now.
We're trying to decide how big a big dungeon is. How many sessions do you expect this dungeon to last? Well, it depends on how big it is, Furious Dan.
Have you run anything you would consider big?
I'd say the Silver Bolt was fairly big.
Silver Bolt? Yeah, that was pretty big.
That was...
Then you can use that.
So what happened? She opened this drink.
Weird opening, like a pull tab.
She decided to do it next to my head.
Okay, sorry. It had a pull tab, and for like, I don't know. I've never bought this before.
Oh, it's fizzy.
Yeah.
I did not expect it to be fizzy.
No, it was like in the fizzy lemonade section.
I see.
But now you get me, fussing over you.
That's true. 20 or more is a big dungeon. I think between 10 and 20 is just normal dungeon. That's probably right.
Sorry, I spilled on me.
15 rooms seems to be winning this thing. Let's.
Never mind, because this isn't spoilers.
This isn't spoilers or anything. No. I asked because I work backwards for how many sessions I want it to last. I tend to think of, like, it depends on obviously how long your sessions are and all that sort of stuff, but I know that I'm getting about like five room dungeon is easily one session.
We started a dungeon last session.
Hmm?
Did you tell them we started a dungeon just now in Kingmaker?
No. We did start a dungeon. Did I mention that? I don't think so. We just started one. Everyone votes for the most average option. I know. And if they're just two, they can't pick. That's all of chat is bisexual, unable to choose. Okay, so we know now that I've gotten over the passion fruit. That's okay. $15-room dungeon. How are we doing this? Short Fuse video win. Short Fuse is done. There's a Game Tales episode about it. There's a Dadi's diary about it. Go check it out. The adventure's over. We did 8 sessions. Unless you mean like a Short Fuse written adventure module. We haven't done that. We might. Read me like a book. Listen. The thing with bisexuals is they've never had to choose in their life, so they can't start now. I'm allowed to say that because my girlfriend's bisexual. 15-room dungeon. Is it all tower? I like the idea of sunken tower. This big tower has sunken into the swamp. There's no door on the quote-unquote first floor, since the... let's call it ground floor. Since the ground floor used to be the second floor. I think it's like 5 stories. I don't think we're gonna do exactly 5 per 5 per level, but something like that. Ten below? Okay. I think it's mostly like 1 or 2 rooms per floor, and it could be like fairly tall, but then it's down, right? So what's in the tower? And what's underneath? I think it's going to be first 5-room dungeon quotation, and then next 5 rooms is dug by the sentience. It includes entrance. I'm just going to copy paste some formatting here. Dun 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 dun. Setback, climax, treasure. Hang on, no, it's called resolution. Alright, now I gotta catch up on chat. I'm gonna end this poll. 15 rooms won. Oh god, sorry. I forgot to swap. Is it an actual stonework tower? Yeah. 1,000 years ago, a tower was here, and that's what they were all fighting over. I think climbing in to the tower is tough. Rope, etc. required. Now I wonder... So, obviously, if you're making a big dungeon, you don't have to go and make it be 3 5-room dungeons. It is just an easy way. Having a format is always an easy way to sort of get started on these things. Sometimes you end up saying 15 rooms, and then you go, what do I do? But if you just decide to break it up into little manageable chunks, it immediately seems easier. Climbing is puzzle, no? It could be, but it's also literally the entrance. The entrance is the clearing around the tower. You know what? Format-wise, that is acceptable. There's a big clearing full of baddies. What are the baddies? Are they zombies? I think mushroom zombies are probably just a very sort of obvious thing we should be doing with this, right? Like, I don't know that we need to be any more inventive than that for the pitch that we have. Like, already, we have a pretty evocative pitch, and now we just have to land it. The thing you don't want to do is have a really cool idea, and then keep having cool ideas until your initial cool idea is lost in the mix of everything else you're doing. You want to make sure that when you have your cool idea, you deliver on it. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to do mushroom zombies. Hey, I'm happy to hear that, Rohan. What do you do if a character searches a room for secret doors and rolled a nat 20, but there's nothing to find? I tell them, you are confident there is nothing in here. You have discovered all the things, and a secret door is not one of the things. I'm telling you. You can't roll perception so good that you manifest something. Like, this ain't Scientology. There's a one-shot. New. This is a starter adventure for 1st to 3rd level. And this is the final dungeon of it. It might end up being 1st to 5th level, I'll be honest. We put enough stuff in here that it would suck to play this and only get to 3rd level. Fun dead. Yeah, Brett. Yeah, it is. Setback. What's in this tower? What is in this tower? You can also do that, Rohan. There's no wrong way to do it. Funded by Patreons. That's true. This channel is funded by Patreons. What is the setback? If we're doing mushroom zombies in the entrance, let's do mushroom zombies in the setback. And then here we're just gonna do like, guys, gals, Washi. Do you know about the gas spore? Do you know about the D&D gas spore? Let me open up D&D Beyond. Oh, I can't. Oh, it's in the monster manual. Wait, I'm not signed to... Oh, it's the... It needs pictures of my face. I'm not doing that. Screw all that. There's a monster in D&D called the gas spore. It's not SRD, so I can't put it in here. But we can put something similar. But it's basically a puzzle. It's a thing, it's a monster that has like 2 hit points, and if you punch it, it explodes and it can kill you. It's super cool. It happened to Maeve in Everlasting. And maybe AB's character. Yeah, Nax, I don't know what's going on over there. So they now need like my passport or something. Bought the books. Leave me alone. I think we're gonna put that in here. Something like a gas spore. And I think the clearing is just little like spore things. Mushroom zombies in the setback. Yeah. Yana said broken floors. That's a good idea. Complex layout. I think it's got, you know, I want to Jack Hayes the hell out of this whenever I do the map. Blights? We could do blights. Floating flame skull, but in fungus form. Fungus flame skull. To think that I still prep D&D sessions without chat is wild. By which I mean you, not the LLM. Yeah, it is Chthonian. I just, you know, I wouldn't mind handing over age verification ID stuff to these websites if they didn't get hacked every year by Russian hackers, and then like it's just or American hackers or wherever the hackers are from. That's not my business. But you know, there are massive data breaches, and then they're announcing it. They're like, "Hey, sorry, whatever you told us is now known to unknown actors who are doing it to benefit their own yada yada. And I'm like, okay, well, that's fantastic. The only thing I can do in this relationship is tell you less. So I don't know. I don't know what big tech is thinking. I'm assuming it's some kind of regulation, but ticks me right off. I wouldn't trust Hasbro with my passport. Yeah. Yeah, no. 100%. What's the resolution of the tower? I don't know. Just looking at this pull tab thing that filled me with passion. First meeting with the Queen? Actually, I think the resolution should just be like loot, but a first meeting with the Queen. Just as one of the knights shows up. I think it's cool. Flooding? People saying water in the tower. Water level? Basement's full of water. I think that means this has to be 5th level so that they can get water breathing. Next 5 rooms underwater. Zombie crocodiles. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna do zombie crocodiles. Then we just move the flame skull into the climax. Mushroom zombie crocodiles. Hey, good night, Lou. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm very happy you could join us this time. I'll try and stream on more varied nights. AB is doing like model drawing class on Wednesdays, which means she leaves the house and goes and looks at naked people and draws them. That's allowed, apparently. So that means I have Wednesdays free now, which means I might do more of these. We'll have to see. I also think she's got a recording for a video game she's working on next Monday, so I might if I continue to be as solid on the video side as I've been recently, I might be able to stream on Monday as well. Does Gaspor work under the water? Good point. I'm not going to worry about it right now. We can make an underwater Gaspor thing. Is this a brand new adventure? This is the one we've been working on for a couple of streams now. But this dungeon we're making is brand new. And we started with a new villain. And now we're just going to try and fill the dungeon. Electric spores? That's fun. I need a resolution for this. It's going to be some magic item. Some loot. I think the entrance here is finding it. Maybe that is a puzzle. I don't know. It's okay also if the entrance is a puzzle and then the puzzle is something else. So here we can just go role play. We can still call it puzzle. And then it's talking to the queen through the spores. Her voice emanates the halls. Can you realize her aversion to fire? Right, we can put some clues in there. Climax is fighting the queen of mushroominess. How do you spell mushroominess? This is equally incorrect. I'm going with it. Shrieker fungus. If I had the monster manual, I'd be able to look that up. The weapon the knight was wielding. That's good. I think the middle room has a hidden loot thing. And I think the setback, I think it's just a 2-layer fight. Setback and climax. So there's a warm-up. I'm not going to do mythic levels at 5th level, but or mythic like phases, but having there be one fight as the setback that immediately goes into the second fight, I think is perfectly fine. We can then add secondary and tertiary rooms like we did for the broadsheet that we did in this thing. The one of the big things we're doing in this issue was a dungeon you generate randomly as you play, and all of them have like a main puzzle room, and then there are like additional rooms on the side which are randomly generated. I think we can do something similar with what we're doing here. Big horde of armor, weapons, druidic stuff. I think that's looking pretty good. I think we have a dungeon here. Now, is this an entire adventure? No. It could be. It is certainly the foundation for one. If I had to start running D&D right now, this would probably be enough. But if I was going to hand this to someone else who doesn't live inside my brain, this wouldn't be enough. I've made this spiel at the end of all of these streams so far, but the idea is that we're going to take this and we're going to turn it into something that's more recognizable to an adventure. Something we can put on the Patreon. See ya, Lucas. Giannis says, can there be a diplomatic resolution? Can the players be convinced to convince the queen to change her modus operandi? I don't think so. And that is not because I don't think there cannot be diplomatic resolutions, but I think in a game where you have a character sheet full of monster killing options, not being able to beat the snot out of the bad guy at the end is going to piss off some of the players. If 3 of the players decide, we're going to talk to this lady, and the other 3 players are going, I want to rage and I want to start using the new cool sword I just got, you're going to let down those players. However, I think we can put in characters that are a little bit more morally gray. We can put in those sort of scenes. I just don't think we should do it with the main dungeon or the sort of opening handful of like simple dungeon crawly dungeons. But we can absolutely go and say the Gentle Grove is a friendly question mark dungeon. This could be a hostile dungeon, or hostile area, full of bad guys. But there is a way to talk them down. They hate the town, and maybe the characters can facilitate a dialogue between the 2 sides so they can live in peace. Maybe by taking the fight to standard hope. A lot of the time when I want to put in a non-violent resolution, I try to make sure that inside the non-violent resolution there is violence somewhere else, because it is a monster killing game. At its core, that's what D&D is. So when you have a bunch of players and they all just got, like Nax said, they all got 5th level. No, Biglios says they all get to 5th level. They want to use Fireball. They want to use extra attack. And if you say you can't do that, the adventure is now over. You're gonna watch him deflate. And I had this happen to me constantly when I ran Wild Beyond the Witchlight. I told the players, and they had heard this as part of the marketing for that adventure. I was like, listen, the adventure is full of non-combat options. You don't have to fight all the fights. And they went, great. And then nothing exciting happened the entire adventure. They would go to location A, roll some checks, go to the next location, roll some checks. They would just continue to, get 17 on a persuasion roll frequently. And then nothing exciting happened until I decided, no, I'm going to make this hag fight them. I'm going to make this hag fight them because I can see one of the players picked Paladin and hasn't got to smite anything since he got Divine Smite. And if I don't let him smite something, he is going to strangle me. So I'm a firm believer in having there be diplomatic solutions to things, and I do it all the time in my home games. But I make sure that there are bad guys that you get to go beat the snot out of, because that is sort of the point of the entire character sheet. So I know it's a long ramble, and I know probably didn't need to convince Giannis that much, but I think it's important that this is the final dungeon, and therefore it is the final boss, and therefore it's a big scary fight, and you go play Cleric Beast, and it's awesome. But I think we should lean into the Gentle Grove, say, hey, these druids are friendly-ish, but they wanna absolutely kill the humans, and you can tell them, hey, you tell them, hey, it's this company, and we hate the company. Moral dilemma is not bad. I think we should put that in the puzzle. Let the queen live at some cost. I think that's fine, but I think that's mostly an opportunity for the players to say no F you to the player, to the DM. I remember at one point my player had been playing this arc where they were eventually going to probably ascend, and that was sort of the arc they were going on. And when that arc was 70-80% through, and we could feel he was getting close to being able to ascend, a god came to him when he was like knocked unconscious or killed or something, and a god was like, hey, it's a god of gods, like the Zeus of my pantheon, was like, hey, I can make you a god, we can just do that right now. And he was like, oh no, screw you. The god backhands him and sends him back into the mortal plane with the strength of his backhanded slap, and he crashes into the sea and now knows that he cannot ascend unless it's by his own will. And the point of that, the reason I'm telling that story is because I think it's important to give the players opportunities to tell the bad guy no. So I think having there be a moral dilemma where the queen says, you could let me live, and I would only do a little bit of awful stuff. That's a great opportunity for your players to go, I see. We're definitely killing her. You know what I mean? So I think Gentle Grove is interesting in that sort of video gamey. What's that? There was that video essay about anarchists versus fascists, or fascists versus nutters, or something they called it. And the idea is that almost every video game, especially Bethesda game, it has two factions in it. One of them is crazy, like kooky, wacky, Viva la vida loca, absolutely no rules, and the other one is fascist and is like oppressive, follow the regime, dogma, all that stuff, and you have to pick between two awful factions. I think you can do that with more nuance, but you can do it in D&D, and we could do that with a Grove, but in a more interesting way. We could have the Druids lean anarchy and the corporation lean more fascisty, and then you can play around with that dynamic a bit more. Would I be more or less willing to put a moral dilemma in if it was tied to some PC's backstory? If it's tied to a PC backstory, I wouldn't make it be the end of the adventure. I would want the end campaign villain boss to be everyone's final boss, not just AB's final boss. You know what I mean? That should emerge out of the whole of the story. Unless it's a really like a revolver campaign, then maybe I've done that with AB had to once kill her dad. Did you kill your dad?
Silas?
Yeah.
No, I just beat him up and then he went to jail.
You beat him up and put him in jail. Cool.
He was like in the KKK or something.
Yeah. He was a clan member. He was the D&D clan, and then you get to beat the snot out of him. Yeah. Listen, you can make morally reprehensible villains because the players are gonna love kicking their ass. That just means you have to be the villains. I think we got a pretty decent sort of thing here going. Our job's going to be to find ways to tie Cannabis Breach into the rest of the adventure. So, like, whenever we get to different sections or different dungeons, we're going to want Cannabis Breach to be looming large. Though a lot of these, I don't think we need to make here on stream, I'll be honest. One of these is called Giant Beehive. I'm telling you now, folks, it's just going to be a bunch of bees. Bees. Naiad's Rest, Brewing Cabin. I know that Amber Lane is like a Wizard's Tower, and we want to do that soon. But this stream is about to reach the 2-hour mark. So I'm going to stop drinking caffeine because it's 10 o'clock here. And maybe have second dinner. My first dinner was at 5. I haven't eaten in ages. So once again, this was part 5 of the Dillhorne adventure. God, I gotta get a name on that thing. We should probably name it after the cordyceps and the queen. Bees. Not the bees. Yeah. I think we got to figure out what we want to do next, because we could either do the Wizard's Tower or we could make some bad guys in town. I think those are the things that are left. Bad guys in town, Wizard's Tower, all the little stuff. And then, like, you know, writing the adventure. But once we figure out those 3 things, the little stuff is going to be last. And we're going to need the Wizard Tower and the bad guys in town. So, which do we want to start with? Wizard's Tower or the bad guys in town. That's going to be up to you folks to decide as we're making this dungeon together. This is the starter adventure for Atroxia. Going to be for 1st to 5th level. We're gonna turn this into some kind of starter module. God, it would be great if we could get this printed. Could you imagine? I have always had like a huge affinity for box sets. If that wasn't clear from us earlier talking about Mausritter. If you're joining the stream late, go check out the start of the stream when we talk about Mausritter and Mothership. These two are amazing. And if I could one day make a starter set, make a box set, that would be the coolest thing in the world. Although maybe I'd want it to be cowboys if I did that. I would love to do a cowboy adventure. Adventures in town, the bad guys in town seems to be winning by a narrow margin. Wizard's Tower is back to 50%. Oh, bad guys in town. Oh, God. Chat. This is what happens when you give chat 2 options. Should have had there be a 3rd option just called Twiddle Our Thumbs, and it would have siphoned the votes of everybody who was unsure. Break up the forest dungeons. I do like the idea of taking a little break from what has been a bunch of dungeons in the forest to have a look at the town itself. How many bees would you include in the box? No bees in the box. Not well, maybe like a bee mini, like a really big bee mini. Do y'all remember that Doctor Who episode with Agatha Christie and the giant bee? I think that's going to be the main adventure for the next broadsheet. I think so. I genuinely think it might be. Wizard's Tower in the lead again. See, I talked a little bit, and it shifted the votes. Somebody accused me of rigging these polls, but the thing is, people don't listen to what I have to say at all. There's an evil wizard who poses. See, it's 4 S's in possess. It was a wasp. Yeah, it was a wasp. It was. What was it called? The wasp and the. The wasp and the. I used to. I don't know if I still can. I used to be able to just say the name of any Doctor Who episode. Like, people could say 2 numbers between 1 and 10, and I'd be able to name the Doctor Who episode. And right now I'm blanking on the wasp. The unicorn and the wasp. I did it. Alright, if somebody in chat is bored while we're waiting for the votes here, give me 2 numbers between 1 and 10. And I'll do my little party trick before I leave. Doctor Who call-up in the broadsheet. I love Doctor Who. I still haven't seen season 2. God, the amount of stuff I haven't seen since I started doing the YouTube thing. Season 5, episode 7. 5-3 is the victory of the Daleks. 5-4 and 5-5 is the Flesh and Stone 2-parter. So 5-6 would be Vampires in Venice. 5-7 is the Hungry Earth. 8 and 6 is the Caretaker. 3-8. 3-8. Human Nature. 10-10. 10-10. Da-da-da-da-da. That's Capaldi's last season. It was a 12-episode season. It was the one before the finale. Is that Empress of Mars? Somebody in chat's got to tell me if I'm getting any of these right. Maybe I'm just saying words. 2-8. This is the autism, everybody. 2-8. That's the Impossible Planet. I know, Peter. We're almost at 100k subs. It's crazy. I don't know what we're gonna do. I'm gonna have to get a plaque and put it somewhere. Eaters of Light. Empress of Mars is 10-9, I think. Yeah, we've been thinking about what to do for a 100k special, and I've got an idea, but it's a little bit of work, and I'm not gonna spoil anything. But we've got something special in store. 4-7. Partners in Crime. Hang on. Sometimes I just have to start at the start. Partners in Crime, Fires of Pompeii, Planet of the Ood. Then it's the 2-parter. The first one they did. What was Donna's first? Oh, it's the Sontaran Stratagem, Poison Sky. That's 5-5. 5-6 is The Doctor's Daughter. 4-7. Unicorn and the Wasp. Didn't we just do that? Doctor Who party trick. Here we go. Yeah, 6-7 is Let's Kill Hitler. I hope you're not trying to get me demonetized. 7 is confusing, Wolfpacks, because there's a Christmas special in the middle of that season, and it rocks the way I think about it. So 7-9, I think, is Cold War, the one with the Ice Warrior in the submarine. So yeah, that's my Doctor Who party trick. I used to be able to do this with all the players in the Liverpool team back in 2005 when I was a wee lad and they had just won the UEFA Championship. And now it's Doctor Who. I can't do it for Jodie's seasons, and I definitely can't do it for Ncuti Gatwa's. But for those first 10, I watched them enough times that I can just sort of do them all. For some reason, I don't know why my brain is like this. Mom used to say I have a glue brain. Well, everybody, thanks so much for joining us for Doctor Who trivia and doing the Dillhorne adventure. That is where we're going to pick it up next time. Thanks so much for watching this video. This channel is run by me and my girlfriend. And if you want to support us directly, go check out our Patreon, where you can pick up our monthly issues of the Broadsheet, which is this amazing document made by myself and my friends here at Mystic Arts. Magnus writing them with me, and AB doing production and additional art, and Brimrun, my friend, doing the cover and etc. If you're feeling especially generous, you might like the video, comment, share, and subscribe, and hit the bell to be notified when we release new videos. And until next time, keep studying the Mystic Arts.